My boyfriend and I haven't been intimate in over 6 months, and I feel responsible. I, 24F, my boyfriend 23M, and we have been dating for nearly 2 years. Our relationship is really strong, we live together, and have only had one significant argument the entire time. However, we do have a problem. A little over a year ago, I developed thrush. For those who don't know, it's a condition where a woman's vaginal area becomes very fragile, prone to tearing, blistering, and small cuts. It also itches a bit. It was a nightmare. I kept trying different creams, but I made a huge mistake because my sex drive was extremely high. My boyfriend, who I'll call Dave, also has a high sex drive. He would get aroused multiple times a day, sometimes up to 8 to 12 times, depending on what we were doing. We were having sex twice a day, every day, for a little over a year. I was open about my thrush, and there were times when I thought it was gone, so I'd give us the green light, and we'd go for it. To anyone reading this, if you or your partner have thrush, please wait at least a week after the symptoms disappear before having sex again. Trust me, it's not worth the pain. Every time we had sex, something would tear down there. Thankfully, Dave didn't contract it, but I'd be in excruciating pain, and there'd be blood on the bedsheets that I had to clean up. It was awful. After around 2 months of me thinking I healed, us trying again, and then me ripping seconds after penetration, he stopped initiating. I totally understand why. It took me about a month and a half of no sex to heal from thrush. I told him that I officially was healed, and he said that he was happy I was okay. However, he wouldn't initiate anything. So I did. I tried everything in the book. I dressed up. I tried dirty talking him. Strutting around naked. You name it, I tried it. Now, our physical affection wasn't affected. We would cuddle for hours still. It was our sexual affection that ended. After about 3 months of this, I decided to confront him. I asked him what was wrong and what I could do to make him attracted to me again. After a very long pause, he said that he was still attracted to me. He was just scared of hurting me again. I suggested that we could start slow, maybe just blowjobs, fingering, doing finger stuff, whatever. He agreed, saying that he would like to try it out. A few weeks passed and I tried initiating to no avail. Every time I would try, he'd just kiss me on my forehead and hug me, saying "Owa, owa," followed by cradling me along with more pecks on my forehead, cheek, and lips. Now, this is very cute, but after getting rejected time and time again, it began to hurt. It's been 3 months since then. Recently, I brought it up. I didn't want him to think all I wanted in a relationship was sex, so I didn't talk to him about it sooner. But I realized it was taking a toll on my mental health, so I thought it would be best to communicate how I felt. I told him exactly this, and I asked why he wasn't horny around me anymore. He said, "I don't know, but I'll find out what's going on eventually." And that was the end of the conversation. He recently took a blood test, and everything was fine. All of his levels were perfectly normal/healthy. He rides his bike 3 to 5 kilometers daily and has a decent social life. Not a lot of drinking either. He jacks off maybe twice a week, which is completely fine with me. He doesn't watch porn. At least, if he does, it'll be a once or twice a month thing. Another thing to note is that I haven't gained or lost any weight since our relationship started, so I don't think it's anything like that. Recently I've been feeling so lonely. No, I will absolutely not cheat on him or seek attention elsewhere. But I feel like less of a woman. I have to go lock myself in the bathroom and turn the bath water on to bawl my eyes out while he's in the other room. I don't want him to see me like this. It's like we're roommates who cuddle, kiss, and have deep conversations. He used to get boners just looking at my clothed body. What changed? I asked if he possibly was traumatized from my thrush. "Am all good down there now?" And he said he wasn't. I don't want to be a controlling girlfriend and tell him he has to have sex with me. Small update. While this is getting attention, sorry it couldn't be a more interesting post, but I've gotten some lovely advice. I'm going to assume that he's traumatized, but in denial, so a lot of patience is needed for this. I decided that I will slowly show him that nothing is wrong by, gosh, sorry for the TMI, presenting myself to him with a dildo inside. Obviously, I won't just drop my pants when he gets home from work, lol. But I'll slowly ease him into watching and see what happens from there. Another update. Thank you for the responses. I've gotten some interesting advice from all of you. It varies from, tell him you're thinking about cheating, to he's gay, to he's been seeing someone else, to go to couples therapy. And if the above doesn't work, I believe I will suggest going to couples therapy. I forgot to add that I have vaginismus. I'm a total catch, aren't I, faced with tears of joy, and that may have led to thrush/my yeast infection. I will absolutely not cheat on him or threaten him with a breakup. However, I will mention very verbally, but kindly of course, that this is making me sad. So much so that it plagues my mind every day, and I'll even mention to him the whole crying in bathroom thing as much as I don't want to. I am on vacation for another 25 days, so I won't have an update until then. I'll update everyone when the time comes. TLDR, I have a boyfriend of nearly 2 years. We live together and have a great relationship. About a year into our relationship, I had vaginal thrush and my boyfriend and I had sex multiple times, thinking it was healed. However, each time we tried, my vagina ripped and sex had to stop immediately. It was very painful, and I would bleed a little bit each time. Eventually we stopped completely and I healed. Even though it's been over half a year since I've been healed, he hasn't shown any interest in sex. He used to have boners and a sex drive all the time, but now he barely gets them, and when he does, he shrugs it off. I've tried initiating but nothing works, and after confronting him he says he doesn't know, but things will eventually solve themselves. I feel miserable, and I want to be intimate with him again, rather than just cuddling for hours. I also don't want to be a nagging girlfriend. Relevant comments. Sarcasm isn't dead. Definitely traumatized. Even if you're verbally consenting in his head, you could be forcing yourself to pain again, just to please him, and he probably thinks that's not okay. Either way, I'm not sure how he gets around this without counseling, cause he seems to be internalizing this, or it's subconsciously being buried. Can't be too sure. It's not an easy topic to talk about, so I doubt he's going to give you a straight answer, or he just doesn't want to hurt you physically and emotionally. Nobel Neanderthal. Trauma and Mega Stress Medical School. Banana Pancake Gym. I have never ever heard of thrush being categorized as small tears. It is an infection in the vagina, caused by an imbalance in pH/bacteria down there, can also be chronic. Symptoms include itching, burning, and discharge. Update: my boyfriend hasn't had sex with me in over 6 months and it's my fault. I 25F returned from my trip abroad after leaving for 1 month. It was very hot in the city we live in together, and it is uncommon to have an AC in this country, Germany. So, I decided to purchase a fan. Now, that was a whole situation on its own, and I even posted it on my profile here nearly a month ago. Long story short, my boyfriend, 24M, was feeling uncomfortable about me getting a fan. I promise this ties into my update, and was so upset about it, that when the fan arrived he was visibly upset and went as far as walking out of the room without speaking to me for a few hours. He later came into my room on hour 3, after I made a Reddit post about my confusion about the fan, and told me that we needed to talk. He said he needed until tomorrow to explain himself though. So I waited. He sat me down the next day and began with the weirdest thing. I don't get excited about things you get excited about. What? For instance, the fan I'm not excited about it. I told him that I would be more than happy to move the fan into the living room, where I could sleep on the guest bed during warm nights. He shook his head and told me it wasn't about the fan, and he didn't know why he brought that up. He paused for a long while and began to tell me what was going on with him. And no, it wasn't what anyone suspected. A bit of important background: when we first started dating 2 years ago, on the 3rd date I told him that I wanted children in the future, and I only wanted to be with him if we could be together for the long term. He was happy that I wanted children. I then told him that it was not my wish to be pregnant. I wanted to adopt kids, or if his bloodline was important to him, I would consider surrogacy. He said he was okay with this. Well, months passed. 2 years passed. Apparently, this whole time, he hasn't been intimate with me because he wanted us to have a real family where I would get pregnant. At the moment, I am 25 years old, and I don't even want to think about pregnancy. He is 24. Here in Germany, it is very uncommon to have children at a young age, and we both agreed that we wanted kids when we're anywhere between 30 to 35 years old. So this took me by surprise. I simply cannot fathom how you don't want to have sex with your partner because you dislike the idea of adopting children with them in the far future. He says he felt guilty for feeling this way, and was trying to come to terms with it. He kept on trying to get over this feeling, and hoped that it would pass, but every time I brought up our future he shut himself down. I noticed that he was much more hesitant to talk about the future, to fantasize about where we would live, what we would name our kids, what our day-to-day lifestyle would be. So I stopped pestering him about it. I heard that Germans like to take things slow, and I didn't want him to think I was rushing him. But I should have brought it up more. I know I should have. I kept on convincing myself that I was being too clingy and pushy about our future together, so I was able to simply stop asking about it altogether. We immediately decided to split up, and I decided to move out because moving stresses him out, and he had a huge exam coming up that he needed to focus on. Luckily, I found an apartment. It's sadly very expensive, so I'm now trying to find a roommate, which has been very stressful. Between the breakup, searching for a new roommate, moving and working, I'm going crazy. I want him back. We spoke about getting back together, but he said something along the lines of, I don't know, I love you, but I guess if I really loved you enough, I would have stuck with you through anything. And I didn't. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe I made a mistake, maybe I'm still making that mistake by not trying to work things out, but maybe this is the right decision. I don't know. I wish you would have told me that your mom suffered from many miscarriages before having you. Maybe that would have changed my mind, but I made up my mind at the time and it looks like I have to stick with it or not. I don't know. I know I should have told him about the whole. My mom had like 10 miscarriages before having a baby, but I didn't think that was important as I have many reasons for not wanting to get pregnant. It just isn't my thing. And you know, if he did love me like he always told me he did, he would stick with me through this. But he isn't. That's my answer. I don't want to accept it, but that's just how it is. You know the saying, if he wanted to, he would. Well, I'm a true believer in that. He's been crying daily, and while I do appreciate him helping me move out of our apartment, it keeps giving me false hope when he comes over to set something up for my new place. I keep thinking, oh, he'll come around, except he doesn't. It's only been 3 weeks, but he seems so incredibly lost and hurt over this that it isn't worth it for me to give this a second thought. I am utterly heartbroken. I wish we could have talked this out rather than jumping to a breakup solution, but I don't have any answers to this problem. I know better than to wait for him to come back to me, but my God, my mind is telling me to do so. Life has become much more complicated, and I don't even know if I want to live in this city. I'm so defeated right now. All of our friends and family members have told us that there has to be more to his story. There has to be another reason as to why he doesn't want to mend things. But I've asked over and over again, and he said it was this single bump, for lack of a better word. I thought, aside from our lack of sex, that our relationship was perfect. I don't know where to go from here. Relevant comments. Milk dimension. He doesn't get excited about the things that make you happy. That's what stands out to me the most. When the stranger on the bus I've spoken to for 5 minutes tells me they just got a promotion, I'm happy for them. Let alone my life partner. This relationship was never what you thought it was. The image you have in your mind of him is not accurate to the person he is in real life. I know it sucks to have to break up, but I hope you can keep these things in your mind, and that it helps put your heart at ease a little sooner. Adventurous Order, 87OP, responding to Milk Dimension. Yes. I was wondering why he started off with that, and he said later that he wanted to emphasize that this pregnancy situation was ruining even the smallest things for him. He just wasn't happy anymore, or rather, as happy as he should have been. That makes me sad. I really wish things were different. Frederick. More men refusing to be honest and making their partner feel horrible because of it. Agreeable excuse 897. You did the right thing. Even if you love him, it doesn't mean the relationship was sustainable. He himself admitted, if he loved you enough, he would have stuck with you in difficult times, but that wasn't the case. I understand you and him are hurting, but now is the time to focus and prioritize yourself and heal. You do deserve a partner who loves you enough. Take care.